Thank you very much for doing this interview with me. For me, tradition for literally the last 20, 25 years has been this particular show that's birthplace is Canada. And the fact that I get to see this every year, sometimes twice a year, for me is just an amazing thing, especially because of what I see, what comes together. In your own words, Cirque du Soleil, what do you think it is that makes it so special after decade after decade after decade?
It's such a good question. Um, I personally think that it's a mix of everything. And I know that's not the greatest answer, but it's kind of true though, because we've had shows for over 40 years now, and we keep touring the planet with them. So clearly there's something that reaches the audiences. And if I speak about OVO specifically, the show that we're bringing here in Toronto, it was created in 2009. We went to over 40 countries around the world for the last, almost 16 years. So to me, I think the fact that we mix, the very high level acrobats, of course, that's what kind of makes Cirque du Soleil so famous. But with the large scale production, the video projections, the choreography, the live band with music, the singer, the theme, because each show is a little bit of a universe as well. So with OVO, you're going to discover the universe of insects, and it's inspired by Brazil. So there's that warmth and that flair. So I think that the mix of all of these different arts put together in this beautiful journey of a couple hours into this theme and universe is what speaks to everybody. There's something that reaches anybody, whether you're 3 or 4 or 93, 94. And I think that's quite unique in live entertainment.
I think the other thing too is, and I think you'd agree with me on this, is when you watch the performers, usually you think a human being can't do what they do, and then they do it not just once or they do it twice a day. Like it's an amazing thing to see.
Absolutely. So from 40 years ago, Cirque du Soleil, the idea was to kind of reinvent circus. So to not use animals as it was very prevalent at the time, and to really go to the limits of, pushing the imagination, what the human body can do. And it definitely is something that is jaw-dropping, impressive, and that continues. We're continually looking and seeking for what's new, what can happen even on a show that's on the road. Like we are working on the show every single day and adding some new tricks and new flips and new turn exactly for that to really bring the audience and keep the audience at the edge of their seat and also keep it fresh for us on tour, like on stage, backstage as well. What you're describing now, I no kidding, I work with all these people all the time, right? So that's a normal day at the office, if you will. And I very often stop and I look at this and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is pretty amazing to see someone that's bending in four, to see someone that's holding on a wire on one hand on top of his stick and balancing legs up. Sometimes it's almost like it's mind blowing. You
Yeah.
don't understand, but it's years and years and years of practice and many hours every day. So determination goes a long way.
So let's talk about the show again. You kind of mentioned earlier, OVO. I'm saying that correctly?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
OVO.
OVO. So what's the name OVO mean, and what is the show about?
So ovo means egg in Portuguese because the show creator Deborah Calker is from Brazil. So there's a fascination she's always had with bugs, with insects. So all of the 53 artists on stage are spiders, crickets, scarabs, butterflies of all types. And the idea was really to look at how can we make these insects as acrobatically as surgically as possible. So we took the crickets in real life. They jump in our shows. They're trampoline wall artists. They're tumblers, so they jump around and flip around. Butterflies in real life, they'll fly. On our shows, they're aerial straps artists, so they're gonna fly above the stage and they're gonna, really create all these beautiful figures in the air. So the premise of the story is we follow a blue fly who has an egg on his back, so ovo, and he's a traveler. He's a voyager. He's traveling, backpacking, if you will, with an egg on his back, and he encounters this new colony of insects. And that really is the show. It's how they go towards one another. There's a love story with the ladybug and two species that shouldn't really be together necessarily, but then learn to understand each other. And all of the story is woven through three clowns and all of these acrobatic numbers. So it's a 2 hour journey into the ecosystem of OVO, which is larger than life. We really have the large props to bring the audience to the scale of an ant or a spider. And it makes it's a very immersive and entertaining experience.
Now, as much as it's amazing visually to see, we should also pay attention to the story itself because all stories with Cirque du Soleil something to do with the earth, the world, the situations that are going on. And I think that's one thing I want to make sure people understand. And you can talk a little bit about this, please, that it really does reflect on what's going on in the world today and the way we just want to be able to get along with each other and get along with the earth itself.
Going back to your question earlier, I think that's also something that makes us successful is that the show will meet you where you are. And to create a show that can be welcomed in all countries around the world and that can sustain the test of time and be relevant through the years, I think is a real key in the success of Cirque du Soleil. And in this case, the stories, in OVO, there's no narration. Everything is kind of bug language. So there'll be, and but the story therefore is really what you make of it. The story that the 3-year-old will have, and the story that the 53-year-old will have when they attend the show will be different. But there's something that will grasp, and there's something there for everybody. And indeed, to your point, the having a colony of insects, having a newcomer come in and kind of disrupt, and he's got this big egg on his back, and nobody knows what it is, and you see all the different characteristics. Some are skeptical, some are curious, some go towards him really quickly, some are a little bit more shy. There's all of these layers that you can peel and kind of make it fit to the story where you are, whether in your personal life or in the world today. And there's something really rich and nourishing there to see how in this colony of insects everybody kind of learns a new spot, a new place, and learn how to work together. And then there's this celebrated love story that, of course, is also, they don't understand each other at first. And then how do you speak a language that's different but still understand each other? So there's definitely a lot to take from the messaging, and it's going to be up to you in the seats how you feel that you receive it.
The other thing I always like to say too, visually, it's stunning. What you see in the stunts is exciting. The costumes, the colors, but I think one of the main characters is the music. Can you talk about that, please?
Oh, yes, you're so right. I think that I didn't even talk about that. The fact that we do all of our costumes by hand at the Montreal, Canada Cirque du Soleil headquarters, and we often start with like from scratch with white fabric that we print, we design, we create the texture. The costumes are just magnificent. And on this show on OVO, so colorful, all the bugs, it's an imitation of bugs. It's inspired also by superheroes. There's the costumes are functional as well. They're beautiful, vibrant. I think that definitely is something that elevates the whole performance. And the music. So we have a 7-piece band that plays live the entire show. They're a band of cockroaches. So, seven of our cucarachas, as we call them, affectionately inside. So the music is also inspired by Brazil. The theme was let's do an overview of what's musically inspired in Brazil. So we have hints and tints of the bossa nova, a bit of everything around the country. Of course, to the flair and the flavor of Cirque du Soleil. And so our 7 musicians, they play multiple instruments. We have a singer that sings live the entire show, and all the scores basically they're playing and adapting to what's happening on stage. So it makes it very organic. If the audience laughs longer at one point, if there's a moment that I don't know, the artist needs a bit more time to get up to the height that they usually get, the music really adapts to what's happening on stage. So really makes it follows you in that experience through the night.
And the best part is there's not a bad seat in the house. It does not matter where you sit. You will
I
get the
agree.
full experience of Cirque du Soleil.
Absolutely. And because the stage is massive, we travel with 20 semi trucks around the world. That's what we take to bring the show, to bring the stage, the backstage equipment, the full-size gym, the catering, the dressing rooms, the offices. But if you look at the size of the production, it is a massive production, and that is to make sure that anywhere where you are in the audience, you have a really, really good experience. So if you're a bit further, you'll have the overview, you'll see the video projections, you'll see the whole stage, you'll see the 53 artists are often on stage with, so, the colony entirely is there. If you're closer, then you'll have maybe the close-ups of some faces, some characters. So there's no bad seat in the audience. Absolutely.
And the popcorn's amazing. For somebody who has never gone, what would you like to say to them?
I would like to say, I think this show is definitely has something for everybody and anybody. It's a really good introduction to Cirque du Soleil in the sense that it speaks to kids so easily. Everybody's lifted a rock and looked at insects before, right? And there's a friendly kind. It's like I'm not particularly fond of like spiders. On our show, they're just so vibrant, beautiful. If you want to be inspired, if you want to be impressed, if you want to come create memories with your family, your spouse, your friends, your grandma. It's a 2 hour journey that's going to just leave you uplifted. It's a joyful show, mesmerizing, and really, truly something for everybody.
They'll make you think twice before you step on that bug when you see one. I love this. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for this interview. I get to see the show as we speak this Thursday, so I cannot wait. And thank you again for you, your team, everybody with Cirque du Soleil for coming back into our area again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we can't wait to see you all. Thank you very much. We'll be there for 2 months, huh? And just so you know, we have a brand new venue this time. It is the world's largest freestanding structure of its kind. It is the size of 22 tennis courts. So the show will actually be presented in this mobile arena with the Cirque du Soleil experience that you're used to, but you'll see it as a massive space. And we really can't wait to welcome you all in May and through June in our new home for the next 2 months here in Toronto.
Cannot wait. Thank you again.
Thank you.